I would like first to take a few dissenters. So those of you who sat through patiently, calmly, yet exasperated by what I had to say, because you showed so much restraint and decency, then I think you should go first. So if you're a dissenter, maybe you can raise your hand first and we can prove dissent. Good.
All right, we're going to start right here.
Let's take three dissenters first. Okay. Those are actually three questions, and I'll try to answer them. I'll try to answer them in as a succinct a fashion as I can to give other people the opportunity to speak. When I was giving the definition of deterrence capacity, I was careful not to quote myself. I was quoting what Ariel Sharon said. So let me just repeat so there's clarity on it. He said that in the eve of the June '67 war, he said, quote, "Israel is losing its deterrence capacity. Our main weapon, dash, the fear of us." And it seemed to me that that was a quite adequate and illuminating definition of what they meant by deterrence capacity. To restore the Arab world's fear of Israel, and then I said, using my language, to terrorize it into submission. And you can judge for yourself whether the goal of trying to restore the Arab world's fear of Israel is much different than trying to terrorize it into submission. Number two, it was not me I was quoting when I was saying that that was its goal when it was targeting civilian population, the civilian population and the civilian infrastructure. I was quoting what the Israelis were saying during the Gaza massacre. So I was quoting one commentator said that Israel regained its deterrence capabilities because the war in Gaza has compensated for the shortcomings of the 2006 Lebanon war. That's what they were constantly comparing it to. That the Lebanon war, the Arabs emerged not yet fearing Israel. And they hoped that by wreaking enough murder and mayhem, they would restore the Arab world's fear of Israel. That was their goal. And they were very straightforward about it. Which brings us to the second question. You say, all wars are fought disproportionately. Well, this is a law school. I would think in a law school you would know that there are certain laws of war. And if you don't respect the laws of war, or if you egregiously violate them, then you're guilty of war crimes. If what you allege were literally true, then there could not even be a concept of war crime. If what you say were literally true, and basically what you say is, in war, you do as in war, well, then there can't be a concept of war crime. Then you're allowed to do whatever you like, but then acknowledge that you can't hold any state or any individual guilty, culpable of criminal activity during a war. Because in your view, every state and any state has the right to do what it likes. So if somebody shoots a cap pistol at you, you have the right to take a nuclear bomb and drop it on them, because there's no concept of disproportionality. States do as they like to do. It reaches, as I'm sure you understand, your statement reaches absurd conclusions which you yourself couldn't possibly believe for a moment if you thought them through. And that leads us to the third point, namely, what is Israel to do? I think the obvious thing Israel should do is Israel should obey the law. Israel should be held accountable like every other state in the world. Now, you played a little bit, don't mind my saying so, you played a little bit of a verbal game. Because you said, what are they supposed to do? What the Arab League tells them to do? what Hamas tells them to do, but you were very careful to forget, that I began by saying that's been the opinion of the entire international community for the past 30 years. It's been the opinion of over 160 countries. You can check it, just Google peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine. It's been the opinion of all 160 countries, 161, 67, depending on the year. It's not just the Arab League. It's not just Hamas. It's the European Union. It's Africa. It's Asia. It's Latin America. Now, some of you may want to say, and I notice you're shaking your head, you say, no, you don't agree with that. You're going to say, okay, the United Nations is a politicized organization. Poor Israel, it's so small, the Arabs have oil. Fine, now you're nodding your head. Fine. Well, here. It's all rather familiar. Well then, okay, let's move away from the most representative political organization in the world, and let's look at the most respected judicial body in the world. Let's look at the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice ruled in its advisory opinion in July 2004. The West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, the whole of them are occupied Palestinian territories. The International Court of Justice ruled that the settlements, all 500,000 settlers, all the settlements, they're illegal under international law. What was the vote in the ICJ? Was it close? On the main terms, it was 14-1. Is that a close vote? Is that a controversial vote? Is it a contentious vote? 14-1? On the main question, on the question of the settlements, on the legality of the settlements, you know what the vote was? It was 15-0. Even the American judge, Thomas Bergenthal, the only dissenting vote in the main decision, he said, I have to agree, under Article 49 of the Fourth Geneva Convention, there can't be any doubt the settlements are illegal under international law. Thomas Bergenthal, a Holocaust survivor, Jewish. Is he an anti-Semite? Is that why he voted with the majority in that question? Rosalind Higgins, she's Jewish, married an Irishman. She voted with 14-1. Is she an anti-Semite? Or is it possible that maybe Israel is a law-breaking state and it should be held accountable for that?
Thank you.